There is a critical shortage of organs, tissues, and eyes available for donation. In the United States, there are more than 100,000 patients awaiting transplantation. Nearly 9,000 are Texans. Every 12 minutes, a new name is added to the National Transplant Waiting List.
Hello, my name is Letty O'Nate, and I'm a registered nurse at Baptist Medical Center. I'd like to share with you the story that my family lives every day. Jessica is my niece. She is the firstborn of my younger sister, Pat. Jessica was the first everything in our family. Daughter, granddaughter, niece. Through her, we experienced many of life's first. Beautiful baby, precious child, Princess Leia, Wonder Woman, varsity cheerleader, many proms, and even beautiful bride. On the eve of her 24th birthday, we sat at the kitchen table discussing plans for her birthday meal. Don't forget Tia Letty, Olive Garden, tomorrow 6:30. And don't forget all my presents. Tonight I'm going to go celebrate my birthday, and we're going to have a great time. The next morning, nothing could have prepared me for what I would walk into. It was the most horrific first of my life, and hopefully the last. At 3:44 a.m. on Jessica's 24th birthday, I worked into the trauma intensive care unit at University Hospital. There she lay awaiting surgery, one of the 7 she would undergo. She had been run over by a drunk driver and dragged the length of a football field under his car as she crossed the street on her way home. For 66 days she fought. Open flesh now scarred, joints deformed, the ventilator pumping every breath into her trach, chest tubes, and those painful dressing changes to the freshly propped stumps that laid on pillows. Jessie succumbed to a pulmonary embolism and was resuscitated long enough for my sister and the family to arrive. Enough time for my sister Pat to crawl up on Jessie's bed and tell her that she should rest. She had suffered way too much and that she loved her with all her heart. Pat was never approached about organ donation. Perhaps 10 years later, the memories might have turned out different. Nonetheless, this is what they are. Please, have those what-if conversations with your loved ones, because nothing like this could happen in your family, right?
Every day, 18 people die waiting for a life-saving organ transplant.
Hello, my name is Earl Bocanegra. I'm going to tell you the story of my son Matthew. My son Matthew was born on September the 12th, 1993. 4 months later, I received a phone call that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. At approximately 9 a.m., while at work, I received a phone call from my mother that she in turn had received a phone call from the sitter, and that my son had stopped breathing. I was told at that time that he was on his way to University Hospital. By the time I arrived, approximately 20 minutes after I'd received the phone call, I was told that my son my son was no longer with us. After that, I made a phone call of my own, having to notify my wife what had happened. Shortly after she arrived, we were taken into a room, and we waited for the family to arrive. While all this was taking place, I had an opportunity to meet with one of the nurses there. She was very kind, took her time. She was very understanding of what had happened, and she asked me or wanted to talk to me about organ donation. Reflecting now, I know that I wasn't in any capacity to have those kind of conversations. Certainly my wife and I had never talked about donating our sons or our children's organs. We never imagined that we would ever be put in that place. So my answer almost immediately was that I was not prepared and that I didn't think that this is what we wanted to do. One day I was having a conversation with Letty during a meeting, and I told her, saying that I had often thought after the fact what difference my son would have made in someone else's life had we donated some of his organs. That is why I'm here today, is to implore you to have those conversations, to talk about, as Letty had mentioned, the what-ifs. These are difficult conversations, but conversations that you need to have in the event that you are struck with the tragedy yourself.
In 1 year alone, the Baptist Health System supported the decision of 9 donor families that touched 27 different recipients.
Hello, my name's Maria Wellish, and I'm here to tell you the story about my daughter Jessica. When we moved from Washington, D.C. to San Antonio, Texas, my daughter was in the 6th grade. Very hard time of the year for transition in a young girl's life. New schoolmates, new school, starting junior high school, but it was very exciting for her. She had a real desire to make friends quickly and ran for president, which we were very proud of her class, so that people would just get to know her and she'd get to know other people as well. The most significant part of Jessie's story, though, was that she was offered an opportunity to be able to participate in a speech contest for the Optimist Society to win a scholarship for college, and she came home very excited about this. When Jessie came home to talk about doing the speech, she only had one problem, and that was, what does optimism mean? She didn't even know what the word was. So she asked her grandparents about that, and they gave her the story of a cup half full or half empty. She didn't really like that. She then asked her sister what she thought it meant after she didn't like her father's and my explanation of the word as well. And her little sister said that she thought optimism was another name for a lizard. We always laugh about that. It's a sweet story. But the truth was, when she actually gave the speech and won the contest, Jessica said that what optimism meant to her was, out of the worst of life's things that happen, something good can come from it. And then she told the story about a little boy in Italy who was traveling with his family, and the family opted, when he was shot randomly, to donate his organs in Italy. And that so touched her that she used that in that speech and many speeches later. Jessie believed in organ donation. And she told us that, and she told us what that meant to her every time she gave the talk. I have to tell you, never in our life did we ever think that that would be something that we would reflect back on. Many years later, when Jessica turned 15, she was in high school on her way to a football game in a car, driving with a mother in a carpool, 7 children in the car. And the car lost control. It was a single-car accident. Jessica was thrown from the automobile. Jessica sustained a severe head injury and was airlifted to a local hospital. And at that point, within a matter of hours, we knew we were going to be forced to make a decision. And the decision didn't have to come from somebody asking us. We already knew what Jessie would want. I think back on Jessica's whole life, and her whole life to us was a gift, but one of the greatest gifts was Jessica told us what she wanted. She told us when she was in 6th grade, and she talked about it for many years. I've never doubted for one moment, not one moment, our decision and what we told the doctors at the time. I have to say to you that as a registered nurse, there have been many days in my practice that I remember early on having to go out and talk with a family. And I always used to think, why would we put a family through this? They've already been through so much. Today I think so differently. I think about the gift Jessie gave us. I think about what she wanted to do for other people. I think about how she spurred us on to give the message that we need to tell our families what we want. We need to let them know. It doesn't mean that donation is perfect for everybody, but it sure makes life better when we know what our family members do want from us to make as a decision should this time ever come.
Their stories are all bittersweet. We understand that organ donation is a choice and may not be for everyone. We encourage you to have those critical conversations with your loved ones. Let them know your wishes. You have the power to change lives. Sign up to be an organ, eye, and tissue donor at www.donatelifetexas.org. Thank you for what you do every day, and know that you are someone's hero.
you.